I'm Russell Hill. I'm your host for another exciting episode of WTF, and that's what the fixed ops to all of you out there.
Welcome to the show. I am Charity Dunning. I'm the co-host here, and we are really excited today to have AJ Holst, independent fixed ops consultant, coach, and trainer. So right. AJ, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Oh, well, that's a loaded question. What do I do? I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Really, the long and short of everything. First of all, Russell, Charity, thank you so much for having me. I'm really grateful, and I thank you very much. But to give you the long story and short story about me, 38 years in the automotive industry. I started out as a salesperson. Then I became a service advisor because when you're selling cars, you just run into one of them little ruts that you couldn't sell ice water in hell. And it's just, I needed to do something different. And it turns out I went into the fixed ops end of it, and I ended up being pretty good at it. And then I became a service manager, a fixed ops director. And then for the past 11 years or so, I've actually been going around and doing independent consulting in dealerships, helping them with express service, helping them with profitability, CSI, and things of that nature. I met my wife through the car business. She bought her vehicle from the dealership I worked at. I worked at the same dealership group for about 26 years. Have one daughter, two beautiful grandchildren, and there you have it.
Okay, what are their names and how old are they?
Let's talk about the queen first. The queen is Wendy. She's number one. I have a daughter, Amanda. And my two grandchildren are Avery and Alvy. They're identical twins.
Wow. I love those names. Yeah. Those are pretty.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's pretty interesting.
That's great. We it's really funny for all of you out there. I don't even know was it on the mastermind, Fixed Ops Mastermind, or was it SDL?
When we first met?
Yeah, online.
I think it was Dave Foy's Fixed Ops Mastermind. And then that was on Tuesday nights, or it is on Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
And then I think Joe Chambers and Eric invited you and I. I think we were like two of the original people, I guess, if you will,
I don't know.
on Service Drive Live on Sundays. But yeah, that's how we met.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
I'm so glad I did.
Yeah, Joe and Eric, and I tell you what they're doing is amazing. Service Drive Live, baby, for all of you out there.
Drive Live.
That's right, absolutely. And Fixed Ops Mastermind, Dave Foy, and with what he's doing at Quantum 5 and that team out there, Dave O'Brien and Sarah and many other people, which we've had on as well. It's really exciting. So, obviously, if it was Mastermind, that was in the height of the pandemic, right? But I had
What's funny, what I was going to say, what was funny was when I was on the road and I got an email stating that, because my main client is one of the OEMs, and I got an email saying your contract has been rescinded. You're coming off the road. And this was like March of when really everything was hitting the fan.
Sure. With COVID. Yeah, absolutely.
And quite frankly, I didn't know what the hell to do with myself. I didn't know what was going to happen. So about a week later, I got another email saying, hey, listen, we're going to be going virtual, but you have to audition for it. So I'd never done virtual training before. I didn't know what, where, why, how, knew nothing about it. I had to teach myself. But one of the things that I had done, I don't know, it was some sort of an intuition or something, but I did start networking myself around. And what was funny was I just reached out to Mike Vogel, who again, I met through LinkedIn connection. He told me to call Dave Foy. I called Dave Foy. He invited me on the mastermind, and then it's just snowballed from there. And, the moral of this story is I have I've just been so blessed to meet folks like yourselves, to meet folks like, Joe, Eric, and Dave Foy and stuff, just through networking. And just, if, and I can tell anybody out there, if you're struggling, pick up the phone and call somebody that you're a connection with. Nobody's going to turn you away. Pick up the phone, call them, ask questions. And most people are really willing to help you out and help you network. And my network has just grown like exponentially ever since that one call to Mike Vogel, and I'm forever thankful.
We are passionate about helping consumers find a great, trusted place to get their car fixed. We have 4 million uniques who come to our website each month for car repair information, and we help them find our REPAIRPAL certified locations. We also have amazing partners like USAA that offer our REPAIRPAL certified network to their customers and members. So how are we going to help dealers? Well, dealers sell 100% of the cars, but over time, after the warranty expires, the repairs go up and the revenue potential goes up, but people keep leaving the dealer over time after the warranty. By years 10 or 12, only about 20% of people are still servicing at the dealer. Why is that? There's one dominant reason, and that is price perception. And being REPAIRPAL certified helps you overcome the primary price perception problem. So come let us show you how REPAIRPAL can help you too.
Well, there's another stud right there, Mike Vogel.
Yeah.
Man, hat off to Mike. Yeah. I, like you, I grew up on the variable side, and not that much. I don't know what you know on the fixed side, but I'll tell you what, the networking niche with fixed ops people versus the variable side of people seems to be significantly different. They're a close knit group. Mike, Dave Foy, and maybe it was Ed Roberts from Bozard. He said, Russell, so I'm a vendor, right? I'm a vendor. Yeah. But these ladies and gentlemen have accepted me and brought me into their fold because I'm there over and over and over again. I've learned so much, not only through them and been able to offer some stuff to the people on those shows, but also the impact that they've had on my life personally and professionally. And then I got to meet you in person with our first SDL live event, right?
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
That was exciting. It really was. I know we digressed a little bit, but that's what we do on the show. It's not, it's about fixed ops, but it's about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's about family. It's about growth. It's about all those things. And Charity, I got to tell you, I know you know, but listen, we wouldn't have it. And, I do this as much as I possibly can. I want to edify her because what she does and what she brings to the table and is so valuable, and it has really propelled our company with branding and awareness. And, one day I'm watching this video. No, I think I heard about it from Sean and he told me about it or something. And you mentioned us in the video that you did, impromptu video that you posted on LinkedIn, which is really great. And that kind of stuff really warms our hearts. But Charity, we wouldn't have this WTF. We wouldn't have what we have right now. And perhaps maybe not even the connections, but all of you have welcomed me into the fold, even though I'm a vendor. I know what the rules are. Okay. And it's like, this is not a pitch fest, right? This isn't one of those things like a roundtable type thing, which I love. TED Inc. and the roundtable. I really do. A lot of great, valuable information, phenomenal people on there. I've learned a lot from that, and I'm engaged with every one of those as well. But something's a little different about the mastermind and the SDL and some of the other things that we do. And to actually meet a lot of you guys, most recently, few months ago, right? With the SDL
a couple months ago.
Yeah, that was really phenomenal.
Charity, you're going to come to the next one.
Which one?
SDL. It's in Arizona.
Oh,
it'll be closer.
Yeah, a lot closer. And so we're gonna have. I would like for Charity to do that. Of course, we got NADA coming up. We're real excited about that too. But, listen, something the other day that you posted, I found really fascinating, the analogy, the story. And I've actually, I hope it's okay. I've used it a couple of times in presentations about the pharmaceuticals, but I don't know if people really, how many people already heard that. And our show has become extremely popular, okay, and downloaded just because of the way we do it. And once again, that's all Charity. I just kind of show up and et cetera. Tell everybody about the pharmaceutical analogy.
It's funny. I was at Walmart filling my prescription, of all things. And, I go into a lot of dealerships, and it's always about, it's interesting when you go into the dealerships right now, they're not talking as much about profitability as much as they are talking about CSI and retention.
Yes, retention.
That's really, really big. And retention, it's something that they should have been talking about for years and years and years. But now it's like, what do we do? So I'm in line, I'm filling my prescription, and my wife is a nurse. And we were having some conversations about, how the pharmaceutical company they run everything and all that other good stuff. And it just somehow or another literally hit me that the pharmaceutical companies arguably have the number one model for retention. If you watch a television, which we're inundated with on television about drugs,
indeed,
and whatever it may be, we're inundated with it. And what you'll do is they'll tell you all the things the problem that it's going to solve. It lets you know all the things that they are going to fix and solve. And yeah, there's always the disclaimers there and there too, but it's all about how it's going to affect your lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Never once do you hear them selling you a pill or a drug, ever.
No.
They're selling you a lifestyle. They're selling you what the solution is to a problem that you have. And I think when it comes to selling, especially on the service lane, first of all, service advisors are never taught to sell properly.
That's true.
They really aren't, unfortunately. But one of the things that needs to happen is don't sell your product or service. Don't sell that. Sell the solution to a problem that your customer has.
That's right.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to tell you about a workshop we're holding at NADA 2023. We're covering how EV adoption rates will impact fixed operations in the future. We'll show you real and meaningful data that might just put you at ease. Or maybe not. You'll have to come see. Come join us at our workshop, How Electric Vehicles Will Change Fixed Operations. We'll see you there.
That's basically what it's all about. And if you solve the customer's problem, not only will they gladly pay the money to do it, but they'll keep coming back, which is exactly what the pharmaceutical companies do.
No, it's really funny you say that, because I see a lot of those commercials, right? And the marketing behind that, obviously what you're saying, but you get so caught up into the commercial itself, the music, and it takes you on this journey, and they have all these negative side effects disclosures at the end. But you don't ever hear that stuff. You hear about, wow, I'm going to be this way or that way,
Right. And let's call it for what it is. There's not a damn thing that's sexy about an oil change. There's nothing sexy or exciting about a brake job, about selling tires, about selling wiper blades. Those are all commodities. People can go anywhere. People can go anywhere for that. But what they can't go anywhere for is the experience that they receive when they come to you. If they come to you and you're giving that experience, one of the things I talked about at one point in time, that there's service and experience are not synonymous. Customer service and and experience are not synonymous.
No.
Customer service is what you get. It's transactional. It's what you expect. Hello, Mr. Hill. I'd like to get some marketing for my service department. Here you go. This is what we can provide. Thank you very much. It's very transactional. You gave me a service. That's wonderful. The experience is how you felt during the transaction. I know I need marketing. I know I need marketing for my service department, but it's how you and how your people and what you deliver to me is going to help with that experience.
That's right.
What problem are you solving that I have, and how can you integrate it into my business? Selling brakes. What is it, the problem that it's going to solve? Is it safety? Is it peace of mind? That's the experience. It's not the product or the commodity itself.
You're painting the picture, right? Because like you said, and I've talked about this before, but I have a lot of memories in my life, and in my head, I've told them or thought them through or said them out loud, sharing them with other people, and they tend to morph and take on their own. It's not even really the original memory as far as where it was, and so on and so forth. And so that changes, and I think it's probably that way for most people, or maybe it's just me because I'm ADHD type A. Don't really know one or the other, but I do know this: something that doesn't ever change is how it made me feel. Whatever that moment is. And you're absolutely right. That is crucial and pivotal. And that's what that's what you talk about. Maybe it's because I don't think it is, but you elaborate on this. Is it just because Charity and I are on this end and this is what we're seeing, and we're offering solutions, on the digital side to have a footprint that they'd never had before? And there's a huge focus on retention and fixed operations, particularly tires, right? Because it's the single largest purchase. Or is it just me? Or is it really the industry as a whole is going through this massive paradigm shift? It's not going to happen overnight, but people are hyper focusing on this kind of stuff, trying to make transitions to hold on to that.
I think it's the industry as a whole. I really do. I think it's the industry as a whole. I think they've realized that what we've been doing is wrong. Here's what's interesting. Everybody complains about what Gen Z and millennials and the way they do business and all that other good stuff. And all they're doing, and it sounds silly, all they're doing and all they want is what we should have been doing years ago. They want to be heard. They want to be valued. They want to be paid what they're worth. And if you want more out of them, it's our job as leaders to give them a compelling reason as to why they should do it. Charity, am I right?
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, and they want, as far as the customer side, they want convenience, they want efficiency, they want speed, right. They want technology. And as employees on that side, they want just what you said, to be heard and to feel valued and have an end goal, something that they're working toward.
Right. Now from a standpoint of CSI is something that's just plagued our industry forever. I mean, there's your pay plans are predicated on what your CSI scores are. I was in a dealership the other day that some of the advisors and even the managers, unfortunately, have literally they're in fear of their position at the dealership because of lousy CSI. Now, Russell, you've heard me say this before. CSI is just a snapshot in time.
That's it.
You could have gotten a customer at a really crappy time, or vice versa. They could have gotten you at a crappy time. They don't know that you just got screamed at and somebody just lit you up 5 minutes before. Okay. Not that I'm making an excuse for poor CSI, but usually when you look at a poor CSI survey and after everybody gets finished kicking themselves and beating themselves up, it shouldn't be, it really isn't a surprise. You can actually narrow it down to, okay, I could maybe see where the customer's coming from that standpoint.
Sure.
But CSI is just, again, that small snapshot in time. Retention, if you do the right thing over and over and over again consistently, deliver on what you promise, under promise, over deliver, you do that, a client or a customer is a hell of a lot more likely to give you a pass on that one day, as long as you're consistent all the other times.
Agreed.
People are willing to pay more to feel good. People are willing to pay more to have exceptional service experience.
Which includes communication, obviously. Yeah.
Communicate well. Unfortunately, that's another topic altogether, is just the art of the conversation. Yes. Which really is. But to answer your question, I do think that the industry as a whole is finally looking at retention. As a matter of fact, I'm not exactly sure. I think it might be Toyota.
It is Toyota. And I'm assuming I know what the hell you're fixing to talk about, but go ahead.
Toyota, I think that one of the big metrics that they're looking at right now is retention versus CSI.
2 times a year in order to get that money. I think other manufacturers are following suit, but Toyota's been doing it for about 2 years now, that the customer has to come in twice a year.
Yeah. And again, it's all about getting what do we need to do to have the customer come back? Russell can appreciate it because he's heard this before. Wiper blades. It's like my big thing. Why do dealerships charge labor to put wiper blades on a car? It's the stupidest thing on the planet. My daughter turned around and went to I think it was to Advanced Auto Parts or Napa or something like that, needed wiper blades. She bought the wiper blades, full retail or whatever the hell it was, and then turned around and said, I'm not exactly sure how to do it. The guy turned around and said, no problem, ma'am, I'll take care of it for you. Comes around from behind the counter, goes outside, puts it on her car.
Yep.
You go to a dealership, you get a song and a dance of how much wiper blades are. How much are wiper blades? Well, it depends upon the car. It depends upon this. It depends on this. And, I got to get it into the shop and I got to, and it's going to cost 2/10 worth of labor. So why do we do stupid stuff like that? We don't provide a great experience for our customers.
Well, thank you for bringing that to our attention because, and I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, God, no, you're fine. You're fine.
So I was, I hope I remember this right because it wasn't too long ago. I was listening on After Hours with Ted Ings, and I think the guy's name, I've met him a couple of times. David Boyle owns a company called Traction. It has to do with tires. Okay, when customers roll into the service department, there's many other types of companies like that, but but he had a conversation. He wouldn't mention the guy's name. And I think it was maybe just a few months ago. He wouldn't mention the guy's name or his franchise, but he was sitting down. Although when he said how many franchises he had, everybody knew who he was talking about. They have 1,600 franchises in the United States. And everybody knew right away who it was, right? Discount Tire, right? Because they're everywhere.
Sure.
And, but he had a distraught look, at least the way I remember the conversation. There goes that memory, right? But, and he had a conversation. The guy was a little concerned. So he said, without saying his name, he said, what exactly are you concerned about? He said, there's a shift taking place at franchise dealers, and it's starting to already impact and will continue to impact our business because they're getting into the tire game, which is the single first largest purchase they make during the warranty period while they're coming to the dealership. Do you agree or disagree? And can you elaborate a little bit on that?
I agree. I think the more and more dealers are looking at that commodity of tires. I mean, the two biggest points of defection from the dealership is the oil change and tires. The two biggest defection points. The oil change.
Interesting.
Because the oil change, because we can't get it done in less than an hour and a half. That's the average time at a dealership, and customers don't have that time, nor do they want to spend that time. And tires is a funny thing. Number one, it's a perception. It's a perception of the customers that the dealer is more money, when in fact, we're not.
Nope. Thank you.
But here's where the problem is. Dealerships, and I don't want to beat up on the parts department, but a lot of parts department, not all, because I'm painting with a broad brush when I say this. If you don't carry tires in stock, if you don't stock tires, you're not in the tire business. And don't kid yourself that you are. You have to have it in stock. Your margins on tires are not big, and they're not supposed to be. But if you can get that customer in on a regular basis for tire rotations, you're getting the tires off the vehicle. You have opportunities down the road to look at suspension parts, brakes, all those other items that are available by getting tires off the vehicle. I talk to a lot of service advisors. They don't know crap about tires. They don't take the time to learn things like what a DOT number is, learning what the specifics are about tires.
Right.
And part of the reason why advisors don't do it is because it's viewed as an inconvenience by upper management.
And I think if I have the statistics right, if they buy a set, they're going to buy a set of tires by the time they get close to or right before their warranty period's up, which obviously then the defection starts to happen. But it's about the long game, AJ, right? It's about what happens, like what you're talking about with, and you want to charge it for rotates and balance. Well, other places don't. If they buy tires, keep them coming back to your store, build that relationship with them.
When I was a service manager, one of the things that I did, if you bought 2 or more tires, you got lifetime tire rotations.
Yeah.
Nice.
How hard is it?
Really, it's so simple. It's simple. But I think therein lies the problem. Dealership math is fuzzy math. It's very, very different than anything else that we've ever looked at. We complicate things. We make things difficult. We really do. It's not hard. It's really not. It's simple. It's not easy, but it is simple. And if we just stick to basics and keep it simple and stop overthinking it, there's a lot of benefits. There's a lot of things that we can do in the long run for retention, for keeping clients coming back. And again, I'm not saying that we have to give away the farm. I'm not saying that we have to give stuff away for free. But again, but somebody buys two tires or more, you get lifetime tire rotation. Look at all the benefits that that's a retention tool to have them coming back.
It's a long-term retention tool. Exactly. Keeps the customers in play, and it's astronomical, the numbers that come back, not only that continue on with you, but also buy another new or used vehicle from you as a result of not doing it. I know that in ADA, there's, unless it's changed, which I doubt, in the last couple of years, that there's 16 non-franchise entities that surround every franchise dealers. Why? Because they know the defections there. You have the Valvolides, the Firestone, the Goodyears, the Jiffy Lubes, the Walmarts, the Costcos. I mean, everybody's into the game because they know it's a gold mine after the warranty period's over.
This is a true story. When I first, and I'm going back to 1996.
Hold on. I got to fact check you. True story, yeah. AJ. Go ahead. I'm just kidding.
My service director, who was my mentor, and he's the best. We're still friends to this day. But one of the things he told me was, if anybody comes in for a problem with tires, don't get involved in it. It's a pain in the neck. Send them, because the manufacturer will not warranty tires. It's too much aggravation to get involved. Send them down the street to Goodyear or Firestone, and they'll warranty the tire.
Oh my God.
Now listen, the true story. Now I'm a good soldier. I'm going to do what I'm told. So here I am. Charity comes in and I'm like, yes, ma'am, you got a problem with your tire. But listen, that's not warranted by the manufacturer, by the OEM. Let me sit the Goodyear tire. Let me send you down to Goodyear. And everybody was doing that. And then you got to Goodyear, and Goodyear turned around and said, absolutely, Ms. Dunning, we're going to take care of that for you. Oh, and by the way, we can do all your other service work. We can change your oil. We can do your brakes. We can do all your factory maintenance.
Wiper blades and cabin filters and everything. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the technicians that we have in the back used to work at the dealership, so they know what they're looking for on your vehicle. And if we see something that's going to be covered under warranty, we'll be sure to send you back there so you get it done for free. But just come back to us for everything else. Oh, and an oil change? You don't need an appointment for an oil change. Just come on down. We'll take care of it for you. I just told you everything that you want to hear. I took care of you. Why in God's green earth would you want to go back to the dealership?
Yeah. No, listen, that's such a valid point. I even remember that. Well, we don't, it's not covered by Toyota or whatever. It's covered by the tire manufacturer, and they're down the street there. We don't have anything to do with that. Yeah.
And that's set a precedent too, right? So that's what people kept doing. It worked, so they kept doing it. And so if dealerships want to get that customer retention back, they've got to change perception in the public about where I'm going to go get my oil change. I'm not going to go to a dealership. I've been going to my independent place for years, and that's where I'm going to continue to go.
Yeah.
The other thing too is, a lot of the dealerships.
Well said, mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was real well said. A lot of the dealerships also run into that problem. I had a service advisor yesterday that I was training, and the first thing they went to is, well, let's put down the independent. Don't put down the independent, because all you're doing is putting down the customer. They chose to go there. If you tell them that they did something silly, all they heard is that that they made a bad decision.
Yeah, you're talking about their friend and dumping about their friend. Yeah, right. Exactly.
If you're going to sell to a client or a customer, talk about what you offer. Hey, listen, they do a tremendous job down there. They do a really, really, really nice job. I've had the pleasure of going over there and meeting some of those folks. But do you know what we can do? Let me go over a couple of things and show you how we're different here.
Well done.
And that's the way it has to come across. Don't turn around and say, oh, yeah, but they can't do this. Discount Tire. Discount Tire. They can't do alignments.
That's right.
Okay? Yes, they have great prices on tires. They do have great prices on tires, folks. But let me just tell you something that we can do. Not something that they can't do, but something that we can do.
There you go. Love it.
And then go into the balance, the alignment. We give you free tire rotations, whatever it is that your store offers.
I don't
think a lot of people think of that.
Yeah, I think that I've had some conversations with some fixed ops people, and they're getting into the tire game. And I think I've also I have heard people say, well, it just costs too much money you don't need to. Just stock a few SKUs of the most common tires for the most prevalent models that are coming in for service. It's not an arm and a leg. Listen, I know Discount Tire because I've gotten tires from them in the past. My tires are staggered. So when I need back tires, I go through about 2 sets. I go through every other set before I get a new set of fronts, just because of the way, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But they don't have them in stock. They got to get them hot shipped. The dealer can get them hot shipped from the same place in the same amount of time. Is that correct?
Pretty much. I mean, I think the big players the big players at dealers right now are Tire Rack and also Dealer Tire.
Dealer Tire.
And usually I think the turnaround time is either same day or usually the next day.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with every industry right now, you also have the supply chain issues.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Which is regardless of what you're looking at, you're going to run into that. But the big thing is, again, I think the number is 78% of people will buy tires from the first person that offers them the service.
Thank you.
You have to offer them, you have to give them options.
And it's so easy to set them up. You got mothers coming in, it don't matter whoever's coming in, right? Yeah. You got somebody coming in a minivan with 2 car seats. That's an instant automatic way to build rapport and relationship with them. And safety is obviously important to him, her, or them, right?
The key to selling tires is the key to selling any other thing in the dealership when you're dealing with a client. You got to look at history. When was the last time that they were here? And this is assuming that they come to your store on a regular basis.
Sure.
Let's look at history. When was the last time they were here? And if the technicians did their job right and everything was put down, let's say the tires were at 630 seconds the last time that the vehicle was here, and that was 10,000 miles ago in 6 months. And now you're at 430 seconds. Now, while the tires don't need to be replaced right this second, and let your customer know, hey, listen, you're still safe. You still have plenty of tread. But based upon your history and the way you drive, you might want to consider doing something. And now talk about what their driving habits are.
Right.
Educate the customer.
Yep.
Give them options. Give them a good, better, best.
I love it. And if they're already coming in, right? And you got some time based upon, your relationship, finding out what their driving habits are. They know the stage is set. Next time you come in, you're going to need tires.
And another thing too is, if if you can't get the part, if you don't have the part in stock or whatever, and you can get it either at the end of the day or maybe tomorrow, you can do it. Offer the customer a loaner car. Oh, my dealership, we don't supply loaner cars. Okay, good. Go rent them a car from Enterprise Rent-A-Car. It's going to cost you $40.
How about Uber? Yeah, get them an Uber. Yeah.
Uber, Lyft, Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Get the customer home. Give the client a ride home. Do something for them that the other guys won't. Everybody talks about tires. Oh, I go to Costco. Well, I can appreciate that, folks, but one thing I do know is Costco unfortunately, while they do a great job with tires, they can't give you a ride home. I'm going to give you a ride home. I'm going to pick you up tomorrow and get you back. I can give you a loaner car. I can get you an Uber. I can get you a lift. Again, tell them what you can do and deliver it on that, and they'll buy things from you.
Amen.
And, that's I get excited when I talk about it. I'm sorry.
No, so Charity, go ahead.
Yeah, well, so AJ, when it comes to your coaching and training, I'm sure you go over retention, you go over how to, make customers feel welcome and all that. What other things do you cover for dealerships?
Good point.
My main focus, I could do a lot of things. Like one of the things that I do specialize in is that I've had the pleasure of working with a company for a long time, SOS, Service Operations Specialist, where what we did was we specialize in installing express service at dealers. So I'm very, very good at that. So I can help a dealership do that. I'm getting a little bit more into doing dealer analysis, going over the financial statements if need be to try to help dealers, see profitability, looking at their absorption, seeing how they can increase things of that nature. I really do it all on the service end of it, but where I really, I guess my passion is, if you will, is probably in the training and the coaching of service consultants. And the reason why I think is because I was one. Mm-hmm. And I think service advisors have the most difficult job in the store. And that is they talk to more people in one day than most people at the dealership will talk to in a week.
That's right.
But they're the least trained. Most service advisors they interview real well. Go follow this guy over here for a couple of days and watch what they do. And we'll show you how to open and close ROs. So they take 1 or 2 days to show them how to open and close ROs. And then they're following somebody. And then within a day or so, that person either calls out sick, gets fired, or is just sick and tired of having somebody follow them around and them feeling like they're training their competition. That the boss turns around and says, hey, we're really, really busy. How do you think you're doing? Well, I think I'm okay, because of course your ego kicks in. Nobody wants to think that they can do it. And they'll be like, all right. And then the boss says, guess what? If you have any problems, just come up and get us. And then you're kicked out into the drive. And that's how you're trained to be a service consultant. Most service consultants, I am just kudos to them that they're even making a living doing what they're doing, considering the lack of training that they've had. And as you all know, why do people leave their place of business nowadays in 2022? The two main reasons: they don't feel appreciated and lack of training.
Boom.
That brings us on to the next question. You did that transition great. So, where are dealers not looking to find qualified and trained staff? Finding employees is tough right now.
Where are they not looking?
Yeah, where do you think they're not looking? Is there somewhere
under their nose?
I love that.
No, God's honest truth. They think, a lot of dealerships think, and again, I preface by saying I'm painting with a very broad brush when I say this.
Of course.
Dealerships want somebody with experience. Okay. And that's a great thing, but with experience also comes bad habits.
Amen.
With experience also comes, that thing like, I know it all. I think the thing, and one of the things that I think that sets us apart, and also the leaders that Russell and I were talking about earlier, is that the people that are willing to be open-minded and continuing to learn are the ones that will excel. The closed-minded people are the ones that fizzle out or just get stuck in complacency. So to answer your question, the best candidates are people right underneath your nose. Maybe there's a technician that wants to, I talked to a dealership the other day. He's got a technician that wants to be an advisor. The kid's 25 years old, wants to be an advisor, is doing some of the advisor work right now, but his company won't hire him as an advisor because he has no experience.
Oh my
Jeff,
gosh.
the hard part's done. All the HR crap is done. He's done a driver's test. He's done the drug test. He's proved that he's there. So I simply turned around and I asked the service manager that I was talking to, and I said, is this a guy or girl, but in this case, it's a guy, is this a person that you would want at your house for dinner? And he turned around and said, yeah. I go, then what's the problem? I go, you can teach how to open and close an RO.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You can teach somebody to walk out and say, let me show you how to do this. You can teach somebody and give them a script or something in terms of making phone calls. You can't teach integrity. You can't teach character, and you certainly cannot teach desire.
Nope.
Maybe there's a technician that wants to be an advisor. Maybe there is a person in the clerical office that wants to be an advisor. Look towards the hospitality industry.
Oh my
You
gosh.
go to dinner.
I used to pluck a lot of people from that and for the sales department because they had a drive and an attitude and desire and they wanted things out of life.
Yeah.
And you could see the way they interacted with people. Why would you forget about the experience that you need that more than anything else?
And again, I would rather turn around and have somebody that I know that is going to be smiling and happy and look at the customer and say, you know what, Russell, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
I have no idea.
But I'm going to go find an
out.
answer for you.
Right.
But I would rather that. I didn't know. Listen, I came from sales and I became an advisor.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know the difference between an alternator and a water pump. I had no idea. I'd never changed oil in my life. And I said to my fixed ops director, again, who's a good friend of mine, I said, Bob, I don't know any of this stuff. He goes, you don't have to. He said, that's what I have technicians for. They fix the vehicle. All you have to do is relay the information. Look outside the industry. Look in hospitality, a phone store. Look within your own ranks.
And those are things that you're consulting and talking to them about, right? Absolutely.
Oh gosh. Oh, yesterday, again, here's another example. I was in a dealership yesterday and they're having a challenge with a couple of the advisors, and he needs another advisor. He has a porter that is only available 4 days a week, but he needs somebody 5 days a week. I said, again, drug test is done. Driver's license check is done. He's already somebody that's on your payroll. Teach him how to do it. I'd rather have somebody for 4 days than no days.
Yep.
Take them. He may turn around in Excel and do something like that.
With Gen Z and Gen Y and stuff like that, the stuff that we talked about at first, people want to know they count, they matter, they make a difference, they're a part of something, and that, et cetera. But these people, they want to get paid, but they also want flexibility. So you obviously, from what I just heard, correct me if I'm wrong, a 4-day work week or something like flexibility and schedules should not be a big deal, right?
We kind of touched on this a little while ago, but you turn around, you take like the Jiffy Lubes of the world and, all the, using them.
Sure.
The reason why they're eating our lunch at the dealership is because, number one, they don't think in flat rate time. Okay. So that's one thing, but that's another conversation for another day. But also they're willing to turn around. If you have a 12-hour shift that you're open from 7 to 7, what difference does it make if you've got 4 part-timers or 2 full-timers? What difference does it make?
Well, apparently it does. I don't know why, but they better start rethinking this kind of stuff, because you're not going to get that out of those up and coming people.
But really, you got to think out of the box in order to work that. I again, at another dealership, and they were talking about, and they're saying, my Express doesn't work. Okay, well, let's look at some things. First of all, look at their website. What are their hours of operation? They open from 7 in the morning and they close at 7 at night. Okay, great. What time do your technicians get there? 8 o'clock. What time do you close for lunch? Oh, we close down the Express department for an hour at lunch. Okay. Well, what time are the technicians there to do oil changes? 5 o'clock. So let me just make sure I get this right. You're closed. Your Express isn't working. Okay. So you're closed 4 hours per day. Does that include Saturday too? Yeah, the same thing. Okay, so you're closed 4 hours a day times 6 days a week. So you're closed 24 hours basically a week. So you're closed an entire full day. But here, multiply that by 4.6 weeks. You're closed 110.4 hours over the course of an entire month. You're not available when the customer needs you to be there. And you're trying to tell me that it doesn't work? If I want to turn around and I want to buy, if my anniversary is today, and I forgot to buy my wife something for her anniversary, and I go online and I see something that there's a jewelry store that's open until 8 o'clock at night, and I can get there at 7:30, and I get there at 7:30, and they say, sorry, we're closing right now.
Oh, I'm done.
We're on our lunch break.
Yeah.
Can't sell you
no, precisely. But again, they're closing down for when the customers need them the most.
That's incredible, isn't it? So you have a, once again, thank you, Charity.
We're unpacking a lot here, aren't we?
Yeah, no, we really are. So mantras are important to you, AJ. What are the top mantras that you strive to live by?
You want me to give you one to kind of refresh your memory? That is yours.
I'm going to tell you a funny story. So I get comments from Russ all the time. Great comment, so on and so forth.
Thank you.
In high school, and you've met me. In high school, I was nominated class pessimist.
What now?
You're nominated what?
Class pessimist.
Class pessimist, huh? You were the opposite.
I was the downer.
Oh my God, the glass is half empty. Yeah.
I was the poor me. Life sucks, but the mantra that I live by. Okay, give me an example. Go ahead, Charity. Because there's so many of them floating through
Charity
my head.
digs. Let me tell you what Charity digs. She does.
True. So, your only limit is you.
I agree with that. One of the ones that really sticks out in my mind is Richard Branson. Train your people well enough so they could do the job anywhere, but treat them well enough so they wouldn't want to.
Oh, wow.
Right. That's a good
Well
one.
said. Well said. Say that one more time, a little louder.
Train your people well enough so they can do their job anywhere, but treat them well enough so they wouldn't want to.
Boom.
Yeah, and again, there's so many things, but probably the big one is live in gratitude. Be grateful for what you have versus what you don't.
Okay,
I think so many of us do that, unfortunately.
They do.
The grass is always greener.
Absolutely, and it's really not. I'm going to dig here for a minute. See if you allow me to dig.
Go ahead, man.
You went from the pessimist to the diehard optimist. Was there, if you would be indulging us to share, was there a defining moment where something happened where you said, man, something's going to have to change, and you realized that, hey, perhaps it was you instead of everybody else? Do you have anything like that you would share with us?
Well, you got to go back to the beginning. I was very, very fast in terms of when I was in 8th grade, I had people turning around and saying that, you're going to go on a full ride scholarship for track and field. You're going to go to the Olympics, all that kind of stuff. And this is legit. And
you were a pessimist? Okay, go ahead. I'm trying to see the two, but go ahead.
No. So this is when I was in, middle school and everything like that. The football coach courted me, said, you know what, we want you, blah, 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 blah. Again, football is a hell of a lot sexier than track.
Mm-hmm.
First game of the season, blew out my ACL.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
And everything, all my hopes, all my dreams, all my everything kind of was like, ugh. I had everything from, oh, that's a damn shame to I told you so. And unfortunately, it was coming from people that I respected. And, it was a downward spiral from there and so on and so forth. I kind of stopped caring a little bit.
For how long? I mean, this happened in high school, I guess, or did this go on for years or
Years.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Years.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it happened for years. I went to college. I got in college on a shoestring. My grades were crap. I was given an opportunity, and then I went away to college, and I found out that partying was a lot more better than going to class.
Yes, I've heard that.
Christmas Eve of my freshman year in college, I got a letter in the mail saying you're on academic dismissal.
Oh, wow.
And my dad turned around and said to me, he says, "All right, kid, because you got a choice." He said, you can go to college, but you're paying for it, or you can go in the service, or if you want to live home, you're gonna have to get a job and pay. Tried to get in the service, but they wouldn't take me. Matter of fact, they did a physical. I was all ready to go. And at the physical, they looked at my knee and he said, "Sorry, kid, we're on peacetime. We can't take you." So there was that. Didn't have the money to go back to college, so I ended up getting a job. A friend of mine worked at a dealership and said, "Hey, we're looking for salespeople." And the evolution happened from there. I met my wife about a year later. And when did things start changing was when my daughter was born. That was my tipping point. I realized that there was something bigger in this world than me. I had responsibilities. I had things I had to do. And do I want to raise my family to think this way? And I started slowly but surely reading good books. The first book I ever read was The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. First salesperson.
Hold on.
Yeah, you're singing Russell's songs here.
Hey, I'm rereading it for like the third time. It's right here on my desk. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Sorry, I got off track.
That was the first book that I read. I got hooked. I have read everything from Og Mandino, and then it's just spiraled from there.
Yeah.
And I read every day. I stay positive. I've always had my faith. Which is good. I'm a practicing Catholic, and I try to do the right thing, go to mass every Sunday. But I've always had my faith, and I had a wonderful mom and dad that brought me up the right way, and I've just been blessed with one of the most wonderful women on the planet, and my wife Wendy. And the greatest compliment that I ever got was my daughter when she was, and my daughter, again, she got a Division I scholarship to play softball. And she's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
She really, really is. And I'm not just bragging, she really is. But at any rate, what ended up happening was I get a phone call from the school nurse, and she said, "I want to tell you something that your daughter did." And I said, "What?" She said, "We have to, the junior prom was coming up, and there was a kid in her calculus class or something like that was being picked on because he wasn't going to go because, maybe he wasn't the most popular or whatever the case might be." And my daughter turned around and says, "I don't know what your problem is, but you're going to go to your junior prom, and I'm going with you." And
wow.
It was one of those things where when she called me up and she said, "Whatever you did with your daughter, you and your wife, you really did it right," because not many people would do that. And it really, it punched me in the gut that I was like, wow, I raised a great human being.
Yes.
If I can go to my grave tomorrow knowing that I did something like that, I'm ahead of the curve.
That's great. And see,
sorry, I rambled. I'm sorry about
No. Listen,
wonderful.
This is because we like to have some things on here because a lot of people and the new people that keep following us, a lot of people know a little bit about you from obviously different circles, but now they've learned some other things about the human side of you, which is, and of course the stuff you post is very thought provoking and so on. And I know thank you very much for sharing that. That meant a lot.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah. I want to ask you about transparency real quick. We got a few minutes left, but I want to ask you about transparency.
I'm free all day, so we're good.
Yeah, we're not, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately.
No, I know, I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. Hold on a second, Charity.
I know, right?
No, but so I'm gonna take a moment because this really hasn't happened before. Charity will find a way to edit it out, but I believe in really transparency. And there's a few companies that I know of. There may be other ones out there, but I want to let everybody and you know as well. But we are very honored and blessed that we have our first what do you call it? Sponsor. We have our first sponsor, and it's REPAIRPAL. Art Shaw and his company REPAIRPAL.
Okay.
Which I think is just an amazing product, and every dealership in the country should have it. It's a great way for advisors to be transparent with their customers so they don't feel like they're getting put together. You may not be the highest, you may not be the lowest, you may be right in the middle, but you have real-time data of all these non-franchise entities around you and what they charge for similar type things, but you're the dealership. And I wanted to know what you thought about that, or other types of stuff where, you can record the technician talking about when their vehicle's up on the lift, or the transparency of the undercarriage or the tires and inflation and talking points and stuff. Talk to us about transparency.
We live in an Instagram, TikTok world, and there is no getting around that. It is what it is. It's here to stay. I think we have to train our technicians to do a quality video when they're looking at a vehicle. They have to learn how to be, say, hi, how are you? My name is, show the vehicle, do an inspection, keep their bay clean, keep their bay clean. You got to be real careful. You don't want any, what's the word I'm looking at? You don't want any things that's going to throw a red flag up for OSHA to see something, or whatever the case might be.
Yeah.
But I think absolutely transparency is what it's all about. I was in the airport waiting to get on a flight, and I'm talking to a guy next to me as I'm standing in line, and he's like, what do you do? So, and I said, I go into dealerships and I train, and I train service consultants. And he didn't bat an eye. He turned around and he says, I love my dealership.
Man, that's a great thing to hear.
I said, why do you love your dealership? What do they do so much? He says, I love that my technician sends me a video, shows me what's going on with my vehicle, and then my service advisor calls me up and goes over it with me. Wow. And I can see everything that they're doing, and I can go and fix it from there. And I'm like, that's great. So transparency, your customers like it. They want it.
Yeah.
They want it.
I think so too. Charity, get him back on. Get him back on.
Yeah.
He's part of the show.
This is
Nico. This is Nico.
I just wanted to show you guys what I'm up to over here. Nico's part of our show, but he kind of comes in and out depending on his mood.
That's all right. I have a dog running around that's the same way.
Well, and I have a granddaughter. I think she may already be gone, but no, Nico, everybody understands that. And we welcome, obviously, Nico anytime that I feel like, because I knew about him, obviously, before he was even born. It's like he's part of the family. I feel like I'm maybe a once removed uncle or something like that. Because an uncle. Yeah, because I see him all the time. Because Charity and I talk about a lot of other stuff. But listen, thank you very much for your time today. Yeah,
pleasure.
And I want to let
awesome.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. We're concluding another extremely successful episode of WTF, and that's What the Fixed Ops to You. AJ Holst, just a phenomenal guy. And I tell you what, Charity and I and Nico are so honored and blessed to have had you on our show. We didn't even get through half the questions.
We did.
But that's what it's about. We don't want to follow some rigid thing. And you shared some real nuggets, not only about business and how you think, but about your family and your faith and the things that are, when you take a look at it, that's what makes you who you are in business today, is the things that you got to share with us. And that's the kind of stuff we're looking for on WTF. So AJ, Charity, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, AJ.
up to be where we're at, the top 65% of downloads and watches and stuff. Hey,